stringing us along. Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear.
Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to the Spring 2024 ceremony for the Department of Integrative Physiology. My name is Marissa Ehringer. I'm the current chair of the department. Thank you all for being with us today. It's a very exciting time where we are looking forward to celebrate your students and all of the hard work and accomplishments that they have achieved over the last several years. As you can imagine, with a major that is as large and popular as ours, putting on a ceremony like this takes a lot of effort, and so I'd like to start by thanking our outstanding staff who have supported the department and the students. And then we'd also like to start by recognizing others who have supported your students over the last several years. I'll go through these and ask various groups to stand up, and once you stand up, if you can, then you can stay standing. So let's begin by thanking those parents. If parents of our graduates, please stand. Okay, you can stay standing, parents, if you want, because you're going to be sitting for a little while. So you may want to stay standing. I'd like for the grandparents and great-grandparents to join those parents as you are able. And any aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins, all those other family members. And it takes a village, so everyone else, friends, anyone else who wants to be recognized for their support of these graduates. Yeah. Thank you. It's really exciting. So I think many of you may have received a copy of our brochure when you came in, and we also have the barcode on there, so you can follow along on the program as we go through the different steps. Before we get started with degrees and that good stuff, we have a brand new video it's not too long, that is going to tell you a little bit about our department, what your students have been studying, the kinds of experiences that they've had opportunities to participate in, and we'll go to that next.
How does the nervous system learn new movements? How do genes influence behaviors that impact our health? How do lifestyle and aging influence the heart and blood vessels? How can we optimize the performance of elite athletes? How does the nervous system modulate sex hormones and influence reproductive function? How does stress affect the immune system and our health? How do sleep problems affect our health and well-being? These are some of the questions that attract students and motivate faculty in the Department of Integrative Physiology at CU Boulder. Physiologists study organisms as functioning systems of molecules, cells, tissues, and organs. Our goal is to link observations on the individual systems to the function and behavior of the whole body in health and disease. This interest in whole body function makes us unique among the life sciences programs here at CU. Within a community committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion, faculty members direct research programs that contribute new knowledge about the physiological functions they study. The research laboratories also provide rich learning experiences for our undergraduate and graduate students, who are often included as co-authors on the 100 research publications written by the faculty each year. Several faculty members also have joint appointments in affiliated programs, including the Institute for Behavioral Genetics, the Center for Neuroscience on the CU Boulder campus, and clinical divisions at the CU Anschutz Medical Campus and at the Veterans Affairs Eastern Colorado Healthcare System. Majors take a sequence of lecture and laboratory courses that include anatomy and physiology, biomechanics, cell physiology, endocrinology, exercise physiology, immunology, neurophysiology, nutrition, physiological genetics, scientific writing, sleep physiology, and statistics. They also serve as teaching assistants in undergraduate courses, acquire research experiences in faculty laboratories, and earn academic credit for professional internships in off-campus clinical settings. Undergraduate majors completing the bachelor's degree in integrative physiology enter a number of health and science-related professions. As doctors, nurses, physical therapists, physician assistants, occupational therapists, pharmacists, and scientists, they share their physiological knowledge with their patients, clients, and the public. At the graduate level, IPHY offers Master of Science and PhD degrees. Most master's students develop a program of study that includes research training in faculty-directed laboratories in the department, whereas others complete the degree with coursework only. Approximately half the master's students use the degree to improve the probability of being admitted to a professional program. Most of the others enter a PhD program where they must demonstrate competence in research by completing a dissertation. Approximately half of the graduates from our doctoral program become the next generation of researchers and educators in academia, and the others pursue opportunities in government and industry. IPHY's diverse community is united by our core missions, answering important real-world questions of human biology, training students to keep asking questions and seeking answers, and sharing those answers with people who need them to lead healthy lives. This is Integrative Physiology at CU Boulder.
I'm going to introduce Dr. Christopher Link, who is going to do the graduate training program of our ceremony.
Thank you, Marissa. Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm a member of the graduate committee, and it's my honor to moderate the confirming of our graduate degrees. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Dr. Rachel Rao, who's going to introduce our first doctoral candidate.
Good afternoon, everyone. Do we have slides for Matthew? Perfect. So as you can see by the picture, I am not Dr. Ken Wright. I did not serve as his PhD advisor, but I was so honored to serve on his doctoral committee, and he's an absolutely outstanding individual and a fellow Kentuckian just like myself. So it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Matthew Atkins for his doctoral hooding this afternoon. For his research, Matthew focused on sleep inertia, which is the grogginess that we all feel immediately upon wakening. This condition can have significant impacts on our cognitive performance while under its influence. For his dissertation, Matthew studied the consistency of cognitive performance during sleep inertia. He explored a novel cold stimulator countermeasure for the condition, and he examined the speed of returning to sleep in a multiple napping protocol, thereby positing a biological function of sleep inertia. Upon graduation, Matthew will return to the United States Air Force Academy as a faculty member, where he will teach the next generation of Air Force and Space Force leaders. Please join me in congratulating Matthew and thanking him for his service.
Okay, next I'd like to ask Professor Alina Grabowski to come to the stage and to hood her graduate student.
Thank you. So I am so excited to introduce to you soon-to-be Dr. Zane Colvin, who has worked in my lab. My lab is the Applied Biomechanics Lab. And Zane got to do a lot of cool things in the Applied Biomechanics Lab as part of his dissertation. And some of the things you can see on the photo that's up there and the slide that's up there, he's done a couple of really cool projects, mainly focused on the use of lower limb prostheses for people who are have a below-the-knee amputation, and how those devices and different configurations of those devices influence walking performance. So he studied the effort that it takes to walk. He's also studied how we move, or their biomechanics, and through looking at different devices, found that the stiffness of a device, or how hard it is to compress, and the amount of power in a device affects walking performance. Now, Zane also got interested in some other avenues for people with lower limb disabilities and studied something recently called sled hockey. How many of you know what sled hockey is? Ah, right, sweet. Well, there's a few people. So it's a really cool activity in the Paralympics that allows people with lower limb disability to be able to skate on the ice and play the sport of sled hockey, play the sport of hockey. And Zane cleverly looked at how the influence of stick length affects performance. So go watch sled hockey. It's a really cool event. And please help me congratulate Dr. Zane Colvin.
Thanks, Elena. Next, I'd like to ask Dr. Summerside to hood our next doctoral candidate.
Come on up here, Robbie. Walk a little faster, you know. This is a rewarding environment for you, so. So I met Robbie in 2018 when I was finishing up my doctoral work in the lab that we worked together in the neuromechanics lab under Alea Ahmed. And when you dedicate so much time, so many years of your life developing a framework for how you're going to explain some observations, you get really obsessed, really attached to this stuff. And then when you leave and somebody else comes in, you have to hand off that torch. And I was very fortunate to pass that torch on to Robbie. He was less fortunate because he had to receive my torch. And in the time since I've left, he's taken this theoretical framework which looked at basic human movements, reaching, walking, how we move our eyes across an environment, and we looked at it as a financial transaction. So how does reward compare to the effort, accuracy, time? And this is all really deep, nerdy stuff, but what he was able to do is take this and apply it to help people, something that I was not personally able to do until recently. So he's taken our model and applied it to patients suffering with multiple sclerosis, and which I think is an incredible application for these theories. And what I think is kind of funny is we were looking at older and older people who were really struggling with these, progressive degenerative diseases, and I think it's kind of comical that at the end, he is now, finishing his degree, and in the next few months is going to be going in the opposite direction, where he's starting a position at the Schreiner Institute in Philadelphia as their director of research. So, Robbie, congratulations.
Thanks, Eric. So now I'll ask Dr. Ehringer to come up and award the next degree.
Great, thanks, Chris. So Nathan was working in the cardiovascular aging laboratory under the supervision of Dr. Douglas Seals, who unfortunately isn't able to be here today, but Doug gave me a few things to say about Nathan, which is that he was an outstanding student in the classroom, a research trainee in the laboratory, and just an all-around fantastic colleague. It's important to note that he received a 3-year individual fellowship fellowship from the National Institutes of Health, which is really competitive and supported much of his graduate work. He has been a wonderful lab citizen who offers his assistance for other projects, manuscript preparations, grant applications, literature reviews, all of the above. And importantly, I think this can't be overstated, that Nathan took it upon himself to gain a strong working knowledge of bioinformatics. His project did a lot of data science, analyzing large data sets to look at the gut microbiome and its effect on cardiovascular aging research. This was a really big effort. There weren't other people in the lab who already knew how to do this, so we had to do a lot of self-learning and teaching. Overall, he was hugely reliable, motivated, and a valued member of the SEALS lab. They want to thank him for his efforts and that it's been a true privilege to work with Nathan.
Thanks, Marissa. I will ask Elena to come back and to actually hood her second student.
Thank you. It's also my privilege to introduce to you almost Dr. Kaylin Hirschman. Kaylin has been a fantastic addition to my lab. She has come all the way from England to come and study with me, and I'm just teasing, but she is originally from England and just has had such a great time in the lab, enjoying what Colorado has to offer, and then also doing some really cool studies also on the use of lower limb prostheses in people with lower limb amputations. And she's used a novel way of trying to help people use devices by giving them visual feedback of how they're walking and trying to understand how that might influence their performance in addition to using the device. And she's found that it might provide a really cool way to try to help people with devices which are tricky to be able to walk more effectively. Now, Kaylin's also a big soccer player, and that's not up on the screen, but she's doing an additional project this summer, so if anybody's really into soccer playing, where she's looking at the effects of footwear on performance. And so she's got many, many skills and many, many things that she's offered to the lab. I'm going to miss her a lot, as with Zane, and I'm really happy to congratulate her on her PhD.
Okay, so for our last doctoral candidate, I'm going to ask Dr. Tanya Already to come up and hood her candidate.
Hello, it's my pleasure today to introduce Dr. William Patterson. For the past 5 years, William has examined the impact of adverse environmental exposures on human health across the life course, with a particular focus on air pollution exposure. The title of his dissertation was Exposure to Ambient Air Pollutants, Implications for Human Metabolism and Multi-omics Profiles. Key findings from his dissertation found that prenatal residential ambient air pollution exposure was linked with faster rates of infant growth and adiposity in early life, which is a well-established risk factor for childhood obesity. He also found that networks of small non-coding microRNA molecules may play a role in mediating the effects of air pollution exposure on cardiometabolic disease risk. Finally, he found that air pollution and genetic risk factors may jointly contribute to increased risk of fatty liver disease. I look forward to seeing all of the exciting work that Will is going to conduct during his postdoctoral fellowship at CU Anschutz, and the Department of Biomedical Informatics, where he'll be studying type 2 diabetes, diet, and genetics. Please help me in congratulating Dr. William Patterson.
Thank you, Tanya. So it is now time for us to award the Masters of Science degrees. And I will call up our new master's students and give them their degrees. So our first person is Lean Abbas. Our next master's graduate is Lila Burnley. Next is Sophia Chobai. Next is Thomas Hembreed. Next is Sarilla Eakin. Next is Angela Kuzma. Next is Riley Morgenthaler. Sian Udovich. And our last master's student, Nora Want.
Hello, my name is Teresa Foley, and I'm the Associate Chair of Undergraduate Affairs. I want to start this portion of the ceremony, you're embarrassing me, by recognizing this year's recipient of the Fred R. Murphy Award. The award's namesake, Professor Fred Murphy, was a faculty member in the department for 29 years. He was known for his athletic, academic, and musical talents, and for his caring, nurturing attitude towards undergraduate students. He will always be remembered as a true gentleman who was a fine teacher and one who thought the student should be the focus of education. This year's recipient of the Fred R. Murphy Award is Sophia Blasco. Sophia is a double major in integrated physiology and Spanish language literature. She is an undergraduate research assistant in Dr. Fleschner's Stress Physiology Lab, where her current work focuses on the impact of altered gravity on the gut microbiome and mouse group behavior. She is also a clinical research intern at the Neurosurgery Department at Children's Hospital, Colorado, where she investigates surgical interventions for craniofacial abnormalities and muscle spasticity. For the past 2 summers, she was an intern at the National Institute of Mental Health. Outside of academics, she is a teaching artist at the Colorado Ballet. She teaches creative dance in predominantly Spanish-speaking schools and created a section of bilingual education to provide resources to other teaching artists. After graduation, she will begin a fellowship in the neurosurgery department at the Children's Hospital and plans to apply to medical school. Her ultimate goal is to become a pediatric physician who conducts research in neuroscience, all while helping to eliminate health disparities within the Hispanic Latinx populations. Congratulations, Sophia. All right. The student speaker for this graduation ceremony is someone many of you may be familiar with, Nora Want. Nora is a bachelor's accelerated master's student graduating with her master's degree today. She was in Dr. Tsai's reproductive endocrinology lab and did her thesis on the impacts of traumatic brain injury and an FGF-enhancing drug on female reproduction. During her time as a master's student, she also TA'd for endocrinology, biostatistics, and anatomy lab. This summer, she will be applying to medical school. In her free time, she enjoys singing in the choir, skiing, and spending time with friends and family in Boulder. Please welcome Nora Want.
Hello. Thank you to Dr. Foley, and thank you to the entire IPHY graduating class of 2024, friends, family, and loved ones of the graduates, and esteemed faculty for being here. I am so proud of each and every person graduating today. You should be extremely proud of yourselves. I know how much time and energy each one of you has put in to get here today. As IPHY majors, that might have included filling out endless amounts of learning goals to study for exams, dunking your face into a bath of ice water to study the mammalian dive reflex in physiology lab, or looking longingly at the lack of homework your friends had while you agonized over another upcoming anatomy exam or an RStudio lab for biostats. It also might have included learning about all of the fascinating effects that sleep has on your health, understanding how exercise affects your body by calculating your VO2 max, or doing research in one of the many incredible labs that IPHY has to offer. As a graduate student, you also might have learned to be a TA, muscled your way through grad stats and colloquium, read lots and lots of scientific papers, took some interesting seminars, and emerged triumphantly once you had written and defended your thesis. Something that I've learned that I would like to share with you all today is that what's meant for you won't pass you by. I was born and raised in Colorado, and when I decided to come to CU for college and eventually grad school, I wasn't sure what to expect. As a freshman, I had no idea if I had chosen the right school or the right major for me. Today, I am extremely grateful that I made the decision to do the IPHY program at CU. As a result of that decision, I got to learn all about different facets of health and the human body, take some of my favorite classes, like sleep physiology and immunology, join my research lab, work with a group of amazing mentors, do my master's degree program, sing in choir, and meet some of my best friends in the world. When you make a big life decision, you don't have to know everything that will come from it. And in fact, you won't. You might end up in places that you never even considered before, which for me included singing at Carnegie Hall, studying abroad in Dublin, teaching anatomy lab, and sitting at a histology table in my reproductive endocrinology lab, sectioning wax-embedded rat ovaries. You just never know. Many of the IPHY graduates from today will go on to work as doctors, nurses, PAs, PTs, public health workers, researchers, professors, and in countless other careers as well. I have no doubt that each of you will be great. As you make your way to your next destination in life, I encourage you to jump in with both feet and embrace that decision fully, no matter which decision you end up making. Trust that you will end up in the right place. You never know what opportunities you'll get to be a part of, the people you'll get to meet, and the experiences you'll end up having that you might never have even dreamed of. Congratulations to the class of 2024.
Next up, we'd like to acknowledge the students who have graduated with Latin honors. These students hold a minimum 3.3 GPA and have successfully written and defended an honors thesis in front of a committee of at least 3 faculty members. We have 10 IPHY students who earned their honor this year. I ask each of you graduating with Latin honors to stand up when I call your name. Hannah Archer. Sophia Blasco. Serena Borden. Nicole Couillard. Arya Dungana. Tina Nguyen. Callie Knorr. Ashley Parrish. Anya Schroeder. And Mina Wasiakowski. Congratulations. We've arrived at the moment you've all eagerly awaited, the recognition of our outstanding undergraduates. Before I hand you your diploma, please take note of these instructions as your final test. Wait for your row to be called before lining up to receive your diploma cover. We're going to start in the back on the right side and move forward, and then come over to this side and move forward. Hand your diploma card to the announcer. While receiving your diploma and shaking hands with me, please face the crowd to receive professional photos. So we'll stand right here, take a picture, and then exit the stage to the opposite side and return to your seat. All right, let's begin.
Sarah Beth Halperin. Ayush La Mathur. McKinley Joseph Rump. Thomas Francis Wynn. Paige Alexis Pierce. Abigail Paige Garber. Hannah Marie Sherwood. Macy Eloise Ting Ambrose. Ellie Marie Schuwerk. Peyton Joseph Matthew Detlefs, graduating with distinction. Alina Bell Landrum, graduating with distinction. Julia Foster Van Wynen. Maxwell Lewis Harris. Elisa Nicole Medina. Wyatt Darrow Peralta. Anthony John Rosado. Vanessa Marie Zuckerman, other major neuroscience. Lucy Dorado. Cameron Elise Catchell. Bellamy Rose Mullen. Kendall Shay Kessler, graduating with distinction. Callison May Stern. Samantha Jolene Payne. Margot Elizabeth Salyers, graduating with distinction. Zachary A. Cooper. Aria Dungana, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Wesley David Clayson. Emily Rose Haramil, other major psychology. Evan Jacob Meeks, other major Japanese. Ariana Reed Lipton. Jorge Eugenio Morales. Leah Diane Rudabaugh. Jasmine Michelle Tenson. Alyssa Marie Teresa Feigl. Daniel Richard Egan. Dylan Thomas Gray. Samuel John Tomaszek. Nolan Hunter Watts. Sol Iluna Segura. Simone Alexander Schroeder Bermudez. Ho Ting Zhang, graduating with distinction. Lucy Ngan Nguyen. Sydney Ka'iulani Armstrong. Anza Grace Connaughton, graduating with distinction. Tina Ha Win, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction, other major neuroscience. Callie Ann Viola Avey. Sophia Antonia Miranda Santos. Liarta Hassan J. Kai, graduating with distinction. Valentina Del Chiaro, graduating with distinction. Kendra Noel Wegerson. Hannah Elizabeth Spracklin. Caitlin Elizabeth Johnson, graduating with distinction. Sydney Brooke Campbell, graduating with distinction. Elizabeth Maria Petito. Ashley Michelle Parrish, cum laude. Anna Danielle Hoyt. Danielle Georgia Ashton, graduating with distinction. Alyssa Malouf. Taylor Marie Brager. Lucy Haber Butler, graduating with distinction. Anna Maria Padilla. Lillian Elizabeth Bannister. Georgia Grace Armitage. Riley Wilson Rappaport, other major psychology. Ashley Monique Van Hefty. Leah Catherine Carter, graduating with distinction. Ashwani Shanti Anupindi. Theodora Margaret Kelly. Nicole Marie Couliard, magna cum laude. Veronica Faye Dunker, graduating with distinction. Jennifer Joy Bacchius, graduating with distinction. Longi Grace Tuzazilla. Hannah Bryn Archer, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Ren E. Spar, other major neuroscience. You got it. Julia Marie Solomon. Mason Patrick Kane. Paige Madison Hardy. Haley Sumiko Fukunaga. Isaac Cooper Freeling, graduating with distinction. Corbin Stanley Miller, graduating with distinction. Jack Edmund Brainy. Acacia Annika Kaufman. Lauren Haley Lanzett. Josie Isabel Bordewick, graduating with distinction. Samantha Nicole Woods, graduating with distinction. Caitlin Grace Hansen, other major psychology. Jordan Elizabeth Rockwood. Benjamin George Marcoux. Barbara Ann Lovren. Bryn Erin Elizabeth Stricker. Chase Douglas Phillips. Rebecca A. Johannes. Miriam Nigot Kefalu. Nicholas Anthony Cartwright. Jade Alexa Ryan, graduating with distinction. Kenna Grace Livingston. Gabriella Falbo. Alex Croitoro. Ashley Eleanor Brightman. Sarah Xiang Appleton. Shirley Fang. Let's wait a second. Jada Ari Green. Watch this baby. Kayla Nicole Cerna. Jaden Joy Huckle. Taylor Lee Confer. Rachel Josephine Kochever. Alexandra T. Wynn. Mena Marie Wachowski, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Benjamin Michael Miser, graduating with distinction. Harrison Edgar Hutchings. Caitlin D. Noyes. Sarah Jeanette Castle. Callie Jean Bozanek Knorr, summa cum laude. Anya Isabel Schroeder, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Savannah Claire Cook. Lauren Nicole Cook. Abby Elena Parks. Claire Marie Muckle. Michaelia Louise Miles. Taryn Nicole Egas, graduating with distinction. Gwendolyn Pearl McGarry. Matthew Gabriel Hagan. Abton Dylan Cargarzadeh. Tyler Matthew Buffington. Allison Indriani May. Ashley Ann All. Lily Aaron Gillis. Ashley Nicole Lindsay. Glad to meet you. Ella Louise Peterman, other major Spanish. Kiera Stephanie Gill. Alexandra Augustine Ferguson. Liam David Clevenger, other major Spanish for professionals. Riley Diane Enos, graduating with distinction. Zachary O. Schultz, graduating with distinction. Zoe Ray Hatch. Isabel K. Kaloge, other major sociology. Anastasia Angeline Rykarova. Michaela Grace Ferraro. Alexander McCann Thompson. Edward Luke Stasi. Elizabeth Marie Taylor. Tegan Demi Hamill. Kylie Jo Smith, graduating with distinction. Sarah Elizabeth Verostek. Gabrielle Annalise Kramer, graduating with distinction. Kiran Preet Kaur Thiara. Dawn J. Park. David Alexander Toller, graduating with distinction. Dylan David Weiss. Sam Ryan Grubb. Diego Enrique Del Rio, other major molecular biology. Shelby Jean Watson. Natalie Christine Colmia. Sarah Fikre Sion. Shifa Anis Gawandi. Aiden Cromwell Gloyd. Jack Holden Ergens, graduating with distinction. Bridget Lynn Hurley. Ainsley Morgan Baker. Brendan Diego Himes. Serena Nicole Borden, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction. Carson Summer McKenna, graduating with distinction. Rachel Paige Castor. Lilu Xiaofan Tauri. We'll give you a little extra time. Anna Raj Bajaj with Sunshine, graduating with distinction. Ivy Catherine Esky. Kelly P. Wills. Katrina Yeva Obergfeld. Lauren Casey Ehrlich, graduating with distinction. Audrey Danielle Corrado, graduating with distinction. Emma Marie Weitzig, graduating with distinction. Nell Kang Daly Hubbard, graduating with distinction. Lauren Ashley McCabe. Ariba Newman. Yuri Son. Brenna Mackenzie Lewis. Virginia Catherine Edwards. Logan Riley Terudis. Michelle Elizabeth Valdez, other major psychology. Alexandra Nicole Rowland. Annabella Leslie Sandoval, other major ethnic studies. Julia Roche Moho. Samantha Jacqueline Einstein, other major psychology. Mia Brownell Mills. Carolyn Grace Aki. Xiaolong F. Hall. Sophia Lynn Holler, graduating with distinction. Anna Lee Stone, graduating with distinction. Alina T. Samarin. Allison Freeman Cross. Megan Elizabeth Hoodmaker, other major psychology. Thomas Lake Voiles, other major psychology. Casey J. Ward. Ronald Jamek Rauscher. Morgan Ann Riddle. Sophia Danielle Gerber. Can you step? Jaden Ray Newkirk, graduating with distinction. Emma Noel Giacomini. Devin Madeline Schmidt. Lucy Ann Bowlby. Jordan Elizabeth Johnson. Charles Davis Pillsbury. Haley Elizabeth Hirschland. Megan Marie Kozo. Ethan Robert Furkich. Cade Stein Carroll. Jason Giovanni Rivera. Jacqueline Ibarra Zavala, other major Spanish for professionals. Maritza Flores, other major sociology. Hung Wong Mai. Aisha Angela Chug. Paula Jacome. Amna Qureshi. William Ramirez Lopez. Margarita Zafirova Denkova. Taylor Jane Johnson. Chloe Elizabeth Schmidt. Carly Susan Martin. Alexia Jade Naro. Ella Claire Stollier. Marin Louise Quintella. Grace Bulmer Kenny. Brett Van Marter, graduating with distinction. Rory Ann Escalante. Jaden Michael Landers. Reina Aurora, other major psychology. Sargent. Melina Sarju. Sydney Rebecca Curbis. Isabella Dorothy Galvin. Kelly Elizabeth Janetsko. Anastasia Valentina Danescu. Gabrielle Colette Wall. Alexis Nicole Yagi, graduating with distinction. Jessica Murphy Cohen. Priya Teresa Coden Kanda. Darby Sheila Brown. Maya Cedro. Tessa Marie Ruiz. And then get, yeah, okay. Bryson Nathaniel Harris. Fatima Yasmin Hall. Quinvin Hall. Morgan Rose Hughes. Kevin Robert Carter. Cassandra Jean Oberholzer. Peyton Magdalene Leonard. Madeline Arabella Risch. Valentina Julia Tarrant. Sam Li Nguyen, graduating with distinction. Charles Masterson Vanderberg. Alyssa Marie Pesh. Victoria Marie Choiquette. Aiden Blake Kabudi. Joshua David Rosen, graduating with distinction. Lydia June Fry. Isabella Rose Avdam. Tucker Moody George, graduating with distinction. Dominic Charles Michelati. Jaden Ray Holiday, graduating with distinction. David Allen Han. Michael Mark Hatchell II. Mitchell Craig Cole. Excuse me. Mitchell Craig Cole. I said my son's name. Isabel Alejandra Angola Medina. Georgia Thomas Brown. Carolyn Rose Conway. Brooke Renee Fowler. Auburn Rose Berry, graduating with distinction. Connor Donovan Blum, graduating with distinction. Senan Joe Eberly. Sophia Rose Blasco, summa cum laude, graduating with distinction, other major Spanish. Jessica Ann Bennett. Malena Renee Singh. Logan William Manchak. Lauren Michael Ings. I'm going to say this again. Ryan Michael Ings. Annabelle Grace Adler. Cade Andrew Moore. Isabel Emerson Plummer. Anya Kashi Manish Shah. Shristi Anand. Isabella Kacha. Nicholas Berry. Brenna Rave Guerrero. Adriana Nave Salgado. Alex Aisman.
Congratulations, everyone. Thank you for sharing your young people with us these last few years. Thank you for choosing CU Boulder and our department to be a part of your process. And that concludes our ceremony. You can stand up, throw your hats, do whatever you want to do at this point.